Today's speaker, Dr. Yashwant V. Joshi, currently Director, SGGS Institute of Engineering and Technology, Nanded. He completed his BE Electronics and ME Electronics from SGGS College of Engineering, and he completed PhD from IIT Delhi. He worked as a lecturer, assistant professor, then professor from 2001 to 2009 and 2013 to 2018. He worked as a director, Walchand College of Engineering, Songli from 2009 to 2013, and currently he is working as a director from SGGS from 2018 to till date. Under his guidance, 15 students completed PhD and 30 students completed MTech, and more than 100 students have guided for BTech projects. He has 40 plus research publications in international and reputed journals and more than 50 international conferences to his credit. He visited many places in abroad like USA, UK, Netherlands, Belgium, Malaysia, Singapore for attending conference as well as chair the sessions. So today he is going to talk on NEP2020, academic autonomy, role of a teacher. So may I invite Dr. Yashwant V. Joshi sir to take further. Please, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Surendra Reddy.
Yes.
Thank you, Vaijanta Patil madam. Thanks, Professor Wagmare, for inviting me to share my views as regards to the selected topic. मला वाटतं भाषा कुठली चालेल ना?
चालेल सर, काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही.
पूर्ण इंग्लिश चालेलच?
हो चालेल, पण तुम्हाला असं जेव्हा वाटेल की बाबा हा मुद्दा मी मराठीत सांगितला पाहिजे तर तेही सांगा, म्हणजे आमचे इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी रिसर्च स्टुडंट आहेत ते जरा हे होतील कन्व्हिनियंट. इट्स ओके. ओके,
थँक्यू. So thank you for inviting me to share my views and experiences on NEP 2020, the autonomy and role of a teacher. In all these topics, role of a teacher is important. That's why I appended the topic of role of a teacher in implementation of NEP 2020 as well as autonomy in its true spirit. So let me share my slides. Although the slides are a bit haphazard, but I'll try to correlate everything that I'm trying to say. All these slides are, some of these slides are taken from NEP 2020 document. However, most of them are my personal experiences and views regarding autonomy and role of a teacher. So what is this NEP 2020 as regards to higher education? Why it is needed? There were several versions of national education policy. Last was in 83, then it was revised in 1992, and there are so many others prior to that as well. So there is always a need for having a policy for national education. All of us are belonging to a category called higher education. Therefore, why the role of NEP in 2020 in higher education? So in higher education, as we see, the current state is mostly the branch-wise or mostly the discipline-wise courses are being taught. So there is a tight compartmentalization in all the departments and courses. Although there are some deviations in some of the better institutes of learning, however, it needs to be done at national level in almost all the institutions because it is good. So we need flexibility in curriculum. Students, which is the main stakeholder, as we always say, that institutions, universities are run which are having policies which are student-centric. The most important student-centric policy is needed, which is called flexible curriculum. What students wants to learn, let him decide about it and then choose the appropriate courses. even in the discipline or outside the discipline. Of course, there is a need of taking courses which are from the discipline because these are related to the corresponding degree to which the student has been admitted. However, if he has interest in some other courses, like for example, today, a Bachelor of Arts has a few courses which may not have courses of, say, finance and commerce. Such courses are not there. Or maybe some courses like music are not part of some of the curricula. But if the student is interested in, he should be allowed to take those courses and complete the requirement of the degree. So, the curriculum is also needed. At present, in many of the universities and in many of the good institutions, it is already started. You should also have multiple entries. The student should be allowed to learn at his own pace. Whenever he wants to learn, let him learn. Such flexibility is also needed. So we should have academic system which must allow entries at levels as well as academic freedom is also needed to all the stakeholders, including students and teachers. Elimination of watertight compartments is the need of the hour, and the curriculum should be broad-based as well as it should be an open-minded approach should be followed in higher education in general. What is the need of flexible curriculum? You see, transforming and creating a dynamic education system is fundamental for the progress of any country, and India is not different. We need to add technological advancements has had far-reaching and important implications on every aspects of our lives today. Each, whether we are from arts, commerce, science, or whichever discipline we belong to, we have understood the requirements of technological advancements. Because of pandemic, many of the things have become online. Suppose we were given the choice of if the situation wouldn't have been like pandemic, and if the authorities would have said, let's use online education for students, most of us would have rejected the idea and have said that you cannot replace blackboard teaching. But now many of us have adopted to online mode of education, and then we ourselves have adopted to many of the pedagogies which are required for online education. So this transformation, what is required, must be reflected in our classroom. You see, all the online media, online education platforms, the concept of classroom is now will not be there in future, may not be there in the future. Like you have classrooms on the online media. Facebook has the room concept. All social media has this room concept in which you can conduct the meetings. Similarly, you can conduct the classes. So there are online classrooms that can happen. So such things are essential for understanding and implementation of academic autonomy in its true spirit. We should also have an open-minded approach to education. Education cannot be in the watertight compartments anymore. For example, a chartered accountant cannot just study finance. If he wants to study something else, he should be allowed. So there needs to be a diversity because today there are so many opportunities. I remember a student, I mean, my colleague, one of my friends, who actually completed his MBBS way back 1989 or 88, 89. And he became a software engineer without any formal education in computer science. He became software engineer that time. How can he become like this? Although he had a formal education in MBBS, but he had interest in these. He could become because he developed the interest and he studied himself. Why not permit him to study software? And therefore, such things are really needed. One of the critical characteristics of NEP 2020 is flexibility. It is integrated, yet it is flexible. So there must be a coherence for holistic learning. We can no more afford to have straight-jacketed education. So NEP 2020 and higher education, we have to revamp the higher education system, create world-class institution across the country. This is all big words with reference to our country, and we must have higher aim. Low aim is a crime. Therefore, the word world class, although we criticize, what is world class? World class is the classroom education happens with complete intent and full of dedication and performance in the classrooms. That's called world class education. World class education does not need facilities, does not need the infrastructure. It needs only the intention of the individual. We need to, currently our gross enrollment ratio is very low, and it is this education policy aims at bringing this ratio to about 50% by 2035. The new vision and architecture for higher education has been envisaged with large, well-resourced, vibrant, multidisciplinary institutions. Standalone institutions like SGGS Institute of Engineering and Technology is not going to be remaining like that. The colleges may have faculties like arts, commerce, humanities, and so on. Maybe medical, because many of the engineering research is actually working towards biomedical. So many of us are working in areas which are interdisciplinary and for supporting the medical sciences as well. The current the plan is that the current 800 universities and 40,000 colleges will be consolidated into about 15,000 excellent institutions. We need to have courses which fall under the category of liberal education. A broad-based liberal arts education at the undergraduate level for integrated, rigorous exposure to science, arts, humanities, mathematics, and professional fields will be put in place. This is what is the aim of this new education policy. This would have imaginative and flexible curricular structure. We need to open out ourselves and try to create a system. At present, you see, we try to look at this NEP from the current infrastructure and current system. But this system is not to be looked at through the existing institutions and existing methodologies. We need to think out of box and try to create such infrastructure. So integration of vocational education and multiple entry-exit points is also included in this. Main part is governance. Institutional governance will be based on autonomy. So in order to implement NEP 2020, we need to think of autonomous institutions, mainly academic, but it must be supported by well-designed, well-defined administrative and financial autonomies. Each higher education institutions will be governed by an independent board. Think independently and think proactively, think of the stakeholders and create appropriate policies. Regulation of such institutions will be light but tight to ensure financial probity. A very important word in my opinion, financial probity, purity. You must have systems in place which actually ensure financial probity and public spiritedness. We should also set the standards for ourselves. If somebody else sets the standards and then we follow it, then we become follower. But institutions should have their own standards. Standard setting is to be done by the institutions. Minimum criteria can be set up by the regulatory authorities, but the standard setting has to be done by individuals, and we must set our own standards. Funding, accreditation, and regulation will be conducted by independent bodies to eliminate conflict of interest. So I personally believe in a strong thing which is called as self-regulation. We should have self-discipline on several things. So it is envisaged in this new national education policy that there will be 3 types of institutions based on difference in focus. All will be of high quality. Type 1, which focus on world-class research and high-quality teaching across all disciplines. Type 2, which focus on high-quality teaching across disciplines with significant contribution to research. And the third is which focus on high-quality teaching across disciplines focused on undergraduate education. It is said that which institutions are better for undergraduate studies, which have a postgraduate program. Which postgraduate programs are better, which have research programs. So in all, integrated approach, UG, PG and PhD education is a part of education system However, type 3 institutions are focused towards more undergraduate education. All institutions will be either universities or degree granting autonomous colleges. You may have cluster of colleges which may be interdisciplinary or colleges run by the same society. That can be called as cluster of colleges. So there will be a substantial public investment to expand and vitalize public higher education through a fair and transparent system. A component of open and distance learning is also to be added to increase the gross enrollment ratio to 50%. Measures such as online repository, funding for research, improved student services, credit-based recognition of MOOCs, massive open online coursework will be taken up to ensure it is at par with high quality in-class programs. So this is not a substitute to a classroom teaching, but it is of the same standard, whether it is online or it is offline. The standard of the quality will be the same. Just a moment. I don't know what is this, what it has happened. Just a moment. Give me a minute.
Somebody has used a pen, sir. Administrator can delete that.
नाही होत नाही सर, पण पोस्ट आहेत, होत नाही येते.
सुनील, लोकांना जॉईन व्हायला पण प्रॉब्लेम आहे, मेसेज येतात जॉईन होत नाहीये म्हणून.
कोण? नाही ना मॅडम,
काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही ना?
नाही नाही, त्यांच्या नेटचा वगैरे इश्यू असेल.
I will stop sharing and once again restart.
येस सर, येस सर.
Is it visible now?
येस सर.
Please don't allow to annotate.
Yeah. So as I said, there will be a quality of MOOCs or online courses or in-class programs of the same quality, high quality. The methodology used in implementation may be through a National Education Technology Forum, ICT Digital India, which have already been started to provide a platform for free exchange of ideas on the use of technology to enhance learning, assessment, planning, administration, and so on, both at school and higher education. National Research Foundation is going to be established. This will initiate or expand research efforts in the technology, AI in healthcare, agriculture, and climate change. So many of the research topics can be taken up, or research can be taken up through National Research Foundation and the funding therethrough. There is a need of transformation of a regulatory system. As I said, it must be based on self-regulation. Standard setting, funding, accreditation, and regulation will be separated and conducted by independent bodies. Common regulatory regime for public and private higher education institutions may go through private philanthropic initiative as well. Empowered governance and autonomy is going to be the key. All higher education institutions will become autonomous, which are self-governing entities. Autonomy will be ingrained in the system, its culture, structure, and mechanism. And here, faculty will have more academic freedom and curricular empowerment, including the approaches for pedagogy and student assessment and research. There cannot be a standard mechanism for assessment. So every course is different. So every course is to be evaluated differently. There may be people from technical education. So this slide tells about what are the things involved into NEP2020 for technical education. Although all these things that are said for higher education are valid for technical education, but technical education is more towards industry. So technical education faces specific challenges as these disciplines are neither entirely knowledge-based nor skill-based. Not only will these sectors continue to demand well-qualified individuals for several decades, but there will be a greater need for closer collaboration between industry. This has been said For last 50 years, I'm hearing this. Close interaction between industry and institutions. However, things have changed. Things are being changed slowly. It's a slow process to drive innovation and research. Engineering and technology programs will be revised to prepare professionals who are well prepared for both current and future practices and are able to exploit emerging science and technology while being responsive to changing socio-economic and environmental contexts. Curriculum will be renewed to develop among students the ability to apply their knowledge and skills in different, often unknown settings and inculcating professional dispositions and ethics. There will be strategic thrust on new and emerging disciplines like artificial intelligence, big data analysis, and so on. Accreditation and ranking of institutions will incentivize collaboration with industry, faculty with industry experience, enhanced internship opportunities, etc. All these are parts of technical education. So certain features of NEP 2020 that it is said that the institutions should offer degrees which are multidisciplinary in nature and have holistic education for innovation-driven Bharat. So there should be an integrated approach to science, arts, humanities, and mathematics, imaginative and flexible structure, which involves bank of credits and credit transfer from one institution to the other, transformation of UG, which will have multiple entry points as well as multiple exit options with appropriate certifications. Take a lead, for example, multiple exit options may be after first year of engineering, the student can join, students will have those skills which were required, which were something equivalent to ITI. Maybe after 2 years, a student gets a diploma. The skills requirement after second year, the requirements of industry, those who are absorbing diploma holders, those skills will be present only when the student completes 2 years of engineering program and then 2 more years for their degree, that is BTech. So all that can be, so the student can leave the course after 1 year, after 2 years, or he can join the course at 3 years and 4th year. So all those things are possible, which are actually called as multiple entry and multiple exit points. So we need to also, with regards to the industry 4.0, which is valid for all the disciplines, whether engineering or others, in these cutting edge areas, students should be at least aware of in the areas of artificial intelligence, 3D machining, big data analysis, machine learning, in addition to genomic studies, biotechnology, nanotechnology, neuroscience, with important applications to health, environment, and sustainable living that will be woven into undergraduate education for enhancing the employability of the youth. We also have a responsibility of creation of optimal learning environment. We need to counsel our students to take up an appropriate path for completing his degree. Optimal learning environment is that there may be students who are very fast learners. So we should have them the path provided in our system. Those who are slow learners may take little longer time to complete a degree, but they also complete a degree. So such provisions are necessary in the education. Multidisciplinary education and research universities to attain highest standards. All higher education institutions, specialized universities to be transformed into multidisciplinary universities and knowledge hubs. So what is a flexible curriculum then? The definition given by Rochester's is a flexible curriculum means you have no required subjects. That does not mean you have no required courses. Instead, the courses that are required are for your major and minor or clusters. You group the courses into major courses, which are requirement of your discipline. Then there will be extra minor courses, which is not the requirement of your discipline, but it adds value in the graduate, right? Clusters are actually a super interesting concept. Every student is tasked with learning something in each of the 3 divisions of learning: social sciences, natural sciences, and humanities. Every student should be allowed to take courses from these, which is called super cluster. You must take a cluster of 3 related courses of your choice in each division that is not already covered by your majors or minors. So you see, requirement is increasing. You have major courses, you have minor courses, you have cluster courses. Then where are you going to get the faculty? That's the main question. The other thing is, this is going to be a burden on students. So there is a mean that it also means that number of courses which are already there needs to be reduced in the regular disciplines, and something else, something to be added, it means something to be deleted. It also means that. So in order to address the faculty, for example, in engineering colleges, we are also looking for making a cluster of colleges. We already are autonomous. There are some colleges which are science, which only have science as a discipline. Some have arts and commerce. Some have some other disciplines like pharmacy. All these 4 or 5 colleges can come together and form a cluster. And then there will be a kind of credit transfer from each other, have the same policies of academics, and then a student can complete courses from anywhere. This does not require additional faculty. The faculty is already there in those 4 institutions which are going to be in the cluster of one institution. So all those faculty also can be used, and they can also get opportunity to teach students from different disciplines. Flexibilities in curriculum is very important. We should have, it is already said by many people that we must have student-centric policies, but hardly there are any student-centric. People don't think about students, right? We should offer the optimal learning paths of optimal flexibility through academic bank of credits. Specify for a degree how many credits are required. You specify out of the total credits how many should belong to the core discipline and how many should be from the other disciplines. That's all. Let the student complete it from anywhere. Such flexibilities are envisaged into this new national education policy. Therefore, the need of academic bank of credits. You know, DigiLocker is going to provide the facility of for certification and for maintaining the records of academic bank of credits. Student earns various credits from different sources and are kept at one place. And once he completes the required number of credits, he gets a degree certificate from where the student was admitted. So there should not be any hard separation between arts, sciences, between curricular and extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities, curricular activities also should be given some credits. Eliminates hierarchies and silos between different areas of learning. There may be special courses in addition to the curricular courses, may be part of over and above minimum required credits. Industry 4.0. Foreign and other Indian languages. You should have, it is said that if you learn one extra language, it adds to your personality. Liberal arts, spectrum of generally accepted as covering the following fields, as it said earlier also: humanities, social sciences, natural sciences, and formal sciences. These formal sciences include mathematics, logic, statistics, etc. Whether he understands mathematics or not, the person always is a logical person. He always thinks logically. So there should be, I mean, everybody, whether you like mathematics or not, mathematics teaches you logic. Therefore, you become more logical. So mathematics is needed for every individual. So I was talking about this methodology that you are required. See, 45,000 colleges are supposed to be converted into 50,000 colleges or 50,000 clusters or 50,000 universities. So you are, in general, 4 to 5 institutes from various disciplines should come together, may join hands. One of them may have a degree granting status. Degrees will be conferred by a single college. So it will be called as a cluster of colleges. Requirement of CBCS, choice-based credit system. Every college, every university says that we are following CBCS. But I personally have my own reservations about saying it to be CBCS. CBCS is completely choice-based, and the choice is to the student. In its letter and spirit, we need strong academic ERP and MIS for implementation of true CBCS. Students can choose courses from cluster of colleges, maybe from foreign collaborations. UGC regulations are in the pipeline. Use of MOOCs, NPTEL, Swayam, Coursera, EDX, that is credit transfer. It may be through online mode, it may be through offline mode. Credit bank, credits earned by a student from all possible approved courses by the institute where the student takes admission. Various pedagogies for teaching learning processes can be employed. It could be conventional blackboard, chalk and board type of pedagogies. Experiential, where students conduct experiments and learns, project-based, activity-based, problem-based, skill-based, pace adaptive, habit of inquiry, research-based, and so on. All such pedagogies may be adopted while teaching the courses. Whichever suits the appropriate course. No one fixed pedagogy can be applied to a subject. As I said earlier, student-centric education to nurture motivated capabilities, no hard separation between arts, commerce, science, multiple entry, multiple exit with appropriate certifications, and flexibility. True CBCS should be implemented. Professional education and vocational training to develop hands-on skills, as is seen, grade 6 to 12, to have interns with local vocational experts such as carpenters, gardeners, potters, artists, etc. Online vocational education to be made available. So actions, teachers and teaching. Promote teaching advisory council to increase usefulness, relevance, and communication of teaching, research to educational practice. Helps develop new curriculum that is driven by industry needs. This is, of course, this industry doesn't mean engineering industry. Industry means even the local industries, shops, the chartered accountants also fall into a particular industry. Promote hybrid and blended teaching that engages students both online and offline in the classrooms. Explicitly integrate online content and activates with in-class content and activities. HEIs need to support faculty to improve teaching skills through teaching learning centers, TLCs, and faculty development programs. You see, nowadays, huge number of faculty development programs have been started by various agencies for the purpose of this implementation of NEPs. All of you might be knowing MSFDA, Maharashtra State Faculty Development Academy, which have started huge number of FDPs to prepare teachers for implementation of new national education policy, enable teachers to update knowledge and share perspectives on research policy, practice, and curriculum, recognize and reward the best teachers. Research advisory task force. This all needs to be inculcated or into habits of individual teachers. Every time he should be a thinker. He should think about how the curriculum is to be implemented, how best my student learns, what are the best ways to learn. As you know, it is said that there are 4 different learning styles, preferred learning styles of individuals. So all teachers on day 1 go to class 1 and identify what type of learners are there in my class. There are many kinds of learning styles. However, one such measure is called as VARK questionnaire. Get it filled from your students. VARK. V for visual, A for auditory, R for reader, and K for kinesthetic learners, which are learning by doing. So if you get it filled, the questionnaire, where the questions are in such a way that it identifies the preferred learning style of individual. As you all know that we all, human beings, learn through our visual, auditory, reading ways, and learning by doing. All these are employed by every individual. However, our preferred learning style could be a single one, which we like the most. Third action is to spur innovation, entrepreneurship, and create incubation centers. This is also started almost all the institutions now. Deepen academia industry linkages. We should have linkages by inviting industry experts or practicing professionals from the industries to the institutions to make aware our students about the different practices in the industry. So it is mutual, like faculty going to the industries and industry people coming to the academia. That way we can deepen the academic industry interface or linkage. Now coming to, as I said, autonomy or autonomous institutes is going to be the key in implementation of new national education policies. As we envisage, 4 types of autonomies are present. One is academic autonomy, which is most crucial, which must be supported by well-developed administrative, financial, and managerial autonomies. Academic autonomy alone cannot function well unless you are autonomous in other 3 autonomies. This is to be implemented through the modalities like Board of Governors. Every institution will have Board of Governors with independent Board of Governors, which may have a finance committee and academic council as per the UGC guidelines, or as mentioned in the uniform statutes of autonomous institutes of Government of Maharashtra. And most important is all these, everybody should understand what is self-regulation and regulate himself or the institution. Most important to us as teachers is academic autonomy. What is academic autonomy? Academic autonomy, the highest body is academic council, which can take the decisions required for improving standards of our academics in the institution, which has board of studies, industry practicing professionals, advisory boards, departmental faculty boards, and so on. So process is highest is academic council. You may have board of studies below that. You may take inputs from industry, practicing professional, alumni, and through departmental faculty boards, and then prepare the proposals for courses to be implemented. Most important in academic autonomy is freedom to a teacher in delivery of courses, evaluation and grading. The student should be, the teacher should be autonomous. He should be the whole and sole authority of evaluation of courses, assessment of courses, grading, and delivery of courses. Friends, I personally feel that in a process of teaching learning, unfortunately, we give more importance to assessment, whereas we give less importance to teaching learning process. Learning process we are not giving more importance to, which is actually more important. Expected is learning, the student learner is more important, therefore teaching learning process is more important. Conduct of classes, how a student learns is to be seen, not how he performs in the assessment or evaluations. However, there is a corollary to this which says the assessment or evaluation, examination drives learning. That's also true. But we must have a balance between learning and examinations. Only examination should not be important, and only teaching learning process is not important. But everything is happening for learning purpose. Therefore, learning is more important, in my personal opinion. As I was talking about a true choice-based credit system, we need to define number of credits required to complete the program or a degree. For example, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Commerce. By the way, in the new education policy, all these programs are going to be 4-year degree programs. So duration is increased to accommodate these interdisciplinary courses. BA, BCom, BSc, etc. Usually it's 40 credits per year approximately. So a 4-year degree program may have 160 credits. A credit is defined by many ways. Usually it is related to contact hours. It varies, but so for example, 1 hour of theory lecture, it means 1 credit. 2 contact hours for practical, it means 1 credit. There are many such definitions, but what is that credit? How do you understand the value of a 100 rupee note? It is based on how much you can earn by giving 100 rupees. That's 100 rupee credit in your bank. Similarly, each of the credit that you earn, it is expected that a student should spend 1 hour with the teacher. That is, it is called contact hour. Then he studies the same subject at least for 1 year, 1 hour in a week, 1 hour contact, 1 contact hour per week, and 1 self-study, 1 hour of self-study. This defines 1 credit. And earning of a credit means, say a 3 credit course, a student earns 3 credits, means he passes the examinations. Only passing of the examination, he earns the credit. He cannot. Bachelor of
सर आवाज येत नाही हो तुमचा. ओके ओके व्हिडिओ आलाय आता.
सर जॉईन झाले तुम्ही परत शेअर करा. हॅलो,
Yes.
जॉईन झाले तुम्ही परत शेअर करा.
Are the slides visible?
येस सर.
Thank you. I think there was some problem. So every degree program should have departmental core courses which are essential. There may be departmental electives, 30 to 40%. There may be institute core courses offered at institute level to all the students of the institution. May be mandatory for all programs like computer awareness. You see, today, everybody does bank transactions and online bank transactions without understanding the security issues. And therefore, there are banking and other frauds, financial frauds happening. So I personally feel every individual must be at least given an awareness course on information security or cyber security. So awareness of computer is essential these days. Office, word processing and spreadsheet is a must for every individual, whether he belongs to arts, commerce, science, sports, whichever faculty. He should have awareness about Microsoft Office or an equivalent Office software. Human values and professional ethics, without which an individual, a good human being cannot be created. Courses like Indian Constitution, the civics, you see, everybody needs to be trained again and again. And the laws, governing laws, the traffic rules, how to behave in the society is to be conveyed to the students. Therefore, such courses become an important courses for getting the degree. Then you have elective institute electives. You can provide the list of electives usually from other disciplines to make a program interdisciplinary or broad based. And you may have a few liberal learning courses which may be over and above or may be included into the curriculum. So like foreign languages, music, filmmaking, agriculture, photography, and so on. Evaluation and assessment. Rote learning and outdated evaluations seem to be the bane of our school and college education system. We need to have policy to de-stress our students and make education enjoyable. Move away from a system what students do during the 3-hour end of year examination, although this is achieved to some extent in most of the engineering institutions, and there is a need to move to continuous formal and informal assessment on evaluation to be spread in other higher education institutions. So recommendation is there will be through the year assessment and report cards will be reflection of the student's skills and capabilities and not the ability to memorize lessons. So continuous evaluation must be followed. Components of continuous evaluation, you may have what is known as in-semester evaluation, maybe 20 to 30%, mid-semester evaluation 30 to 40%, and end-semester evaluation again 30 to 40%. It may vary. Individual institutions can decide about it. ISE may be subject specific and solely the responsibility of a teacher. May include examinations like quizzes, a quick examination, 5-minute examination, tests, assignments, tutorials, open problems, open research problems, and projects. MSc and ESC should be formal written examinations. So you can extend even MSc and ESC to the other ways of examinations. Then there is a need of academic administration. What is needed to be done by the institutions or cluster of colleges or what university does today. Declaration of academic calendar every semester. Usually 90 days, 6 days, assuming 6 days a week in a semester, excluding exam days and holidays. The academic calendar must be giving details about dates of admission, start and end of classes, dates for mid-semester and end-semester evaluation, assessments showing assessed answer sheets to students for transparency of the system, holidays, date of declaration of results, etc. As is said, that we should reduce the time of evaluation. Once the student writes examination, the time between examination and the declaration of results should be as minimum as possible. In various standalone academic institutions, it is 72 hours. We cannot imagine, but it has also been achieved in SGGS Institute of Engineering Technology, Nanded. So if it is achieved by this college, everybody else can achieve this. So what is the responsibility of a teacher? Teacher is responsible for conduction of lectures, contact hours with the teachers, and practical of the course. Delivery of the course usually is 45 lectures in a semester or 15 practical sessions, each of 2 hours per batch based on selected pedagogy. New pedagogies like problem-based learning, project-based learning, research-based, flipped classroom, online and blended mode, etc. can be employed. Maintain the course file containing course objectives and course outcomes, question papers and solution manual of the previous papers, or even the evaluations of the current semester, attendance record, evaluation record, program outcomes and its mapping is supposed to be kept in the course file of the individual course. Evaluation strategy to be declared in the first session of the semester. How am I going to evaluate my own ISE? ISE is in my hand. So I declare the strategy of ISE. MSc and ESC, if given in my hand, I will declare that also. So this includes quizzes, as I said, assignments, etc. Or in some cases where the students do not attend classes, so you may give the credits to the attendance as well. Showing of assessment done in the semester to the students to bring transparency, declaration of results and grading. Grievances of students also should be addressed by the teacher. Teacher is whole and soul about the course. Nobody else can intervene here unless otherwise there is a serious issue. What are the challenges in implementation of this new national education policy and academic autonomy? The challenges are clustering of colleges is a challenge. Our colleges are not in physical localities. How to cluster? Can I cluster a college for example, one college in Nanded and one college in Parbhani or Latur? How then the students will be allowed to take courses from this cluster of colleges? Therefore, clustering of colleges becomes a challenge. In the physical vicinity, the colleges can come together and form a cluster. Choice-based credit system in its true sense and its implementation is essential. Everybody should understand the importance and the difficulties in true choice-based credit system. By coming out of our box and then thinking the ways of implementation, revolutionizing the evaluation system, open book examinations and things like that can also be included into our evaluation strategies. For this, a teacher has to become a full-time teacher. Usually teacher is a full-time teacher on papers, but he's not a full-time teacher in practice. Utilization of online resources and credit transfer from amongst cluster colleges and credit bank would be also a challenge. Faculty requirements and recruitments under new policy is a challenge for governments and appointing authorities. Change of mindset of all stakeholders for successful implementation of NEP2020 is essential. I know in last 2.5 years, there were many sessions conducted by many authorities, and many regulatory authorities have conducted sessions on NEP2020 and have made aware people around, and they have taken inputs from all stakeholders to define and design this NEP2020. So the conclusions, NEP2020 will provide flexibility and bring in multidisciplinary culture in the institutes. It will bring a change in entire education system in the country. Autonomy and its implementation will be the key, and role of teacher is very, very, very important. So I thank you all for your patient hearing. In case if there are any questions, we can take it up. Thank you very much.
सर एक प्रश्न विचारू.
Yes, madam, please.
मॅडम इको होते, 2 डिव्हाइस सुरू आहेत वाटते तुमच्याजवळ.
मल्टिपल एंट्री आणि एक्झिट विचार करतो अकॅडमिक फ्लेक्झिबिलिटीच्या ह्याच्यामध्ये. एखादा BA चा विद्यार्थी आहे आणि फर्स्ट इयर झाल्यानंतर त्याला एखादा प्रोफेशनल कोर्सेसला क्रेडिट घ्यायचे, तर मग ही इलिजिबिलिटी कशी ठरवायची आपण, पात्रता कशी असेल ह्या विद्यार्थ्यांची?
मॅडम
तुम्ही
या
मगाशी एक उदाहरण दिलं की मेडिकलचा विद्यार्थी आहे आणि त्याला एखादं सॉफ्टवेअर शिकायचं आहे, एखादं तिकडलं स्किल घ्यायचं आहे, तर मग ही ऍडमिशन प्रोसेस ही एंट्री आपण कशी देऊ?
जो इंटरेस्टेड आहे त्याला एंट्री आहे, ज्याला शिकायचंय त्याला एंट्री आहे.
शिकायचंय त्याला म्हणजे त्याला कुठलीही पात्रता जसं आपण
काही आवश्यकता नाही.
काही आवश्यकता नाही.
त्याच्यामुळे आपल्याला असे कोर्सेस डिझाईन करावे लागतील की ज्याला कुठलीही प्री रिक्विजिट नाही, असे कोर्सेस आपल्याला डिझाईन करायला लागतील.
अच्छा.
गुड मॉर्निंग सर. गुड मॉर्निंग.
गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
पेटकर सर बोला.
Yes, sir, it was very best session on NEP and related thing. There is 4-year degree program and also contact hours, all these things made practically with the students and teachers. Correction, so that the quality of education increases. But what about the workload and infrastructural timetable setting, all these things? Also, there is a clustering. Also, you have said that those who have colleges are in vicinity, they can cluster. So every positive aspect is included in that. But what about the teacher security and workload? Can you give some elaborate on that side?
Sir, we actually need to address all these questions. It is, I mean, I don't have a ready-made answer for these questions, but definitely we need to come together and find out the solutions for these problems. These are genuine problems. I understand fully. However, as I said, teachers have to become full-time teachers. Then things can move fast and move ahead with spirit.
Any other question?
I can talk about in engineering perspective. आमच्याकडे आम्ही एक इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नावाचा कोर्स टाकला. आता इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन आम्हाला फॅकल्टी नव्हती आमच्याकडे. मग इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन फॅकल्टी करता आम्ही लॉ कॉलेज नांदेडला अप्लाय म्हणजे तिथल्या प्रिन्सिपलला अप्रोच केला आणि त्यांनी डायरेक्टली आम्हाला एका फॅकल्टीची सर्व्हिस मिळवून दिली आणि वी आर एबल टू सक्सेसफुली इम्प्लिमेंट द कोर्स ऑफ इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इन आवर करिक्युलम. कुठे आला प्रश्न? आम्हाला फॅकल्टीचा प्रश्न नाही आला काही. So we need to find out answers to, there is no single answer to any of these questions.
प्रश्न आहेत का कुणाचे? ओके. Thank you, Joshi sir, for giving and the role of teacher that you have explained very satisfactorily. On the behalf of Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathoda University, Faculty of Science and Technology and the Faculty of Interdisciplinary, Dr. being the members, research student, thankful to support and all my research students for joining this lecture. Sir, once again, I thankful to you. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
मॅडम बंद करतो.
I am